What is up, Pokerbrandon here. I am raking in chips from a pot that I won here. And this pot was won at a 5-5 no-limit hold'em table, playing at the Gardens Casino, $300 to $600 buy-in. Now, the way I made this money was I was on the small blind and it folded all the way around to a cutoff who was a loose player, putting more money in the pot more often than any player at the table. Keep in mind this was a Wednesday around 3:15 p.m. So even though he was loose, the majority of the table here was just kind of tight regulars. So he was just kind of like a loose regular. He was not a fish. He was not dumb. Reason being, I know that he was not dumb, was he was 3-betting accordingly. He got his money all in with ace king pre-flop and won. He doubled up versus a pocket pair, I assume, pre-flop. But anyway, having 9-10 of suited here in the small blind, I think the number one goal here is to not play three ways. You don't want the big blind in the pot. So if you're gonna play, it's usually recommended that you 3-bet. But I don't 3-bet because the person to my left was super tight and I just assumed that he was going to fold, and he looked like he was going to fold. So I do a little trick where I just call when I think my opponent to my left will fold in the big blind, and I still get heads up for a pot that is not too bloated. But anyway, King 6 hits the flop. Takes me about 5 seconds to check. I think this is going to hit the cutoff's range way more often. He's going to have more kings, more aces, 100% of the time. But because he was such a loose player, I feel like he may put out a bet here, and it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to have a king. Now, my VPIP at the table was super low, so I was probably just as tight as the table. Everybody's VPIP was about 5%, 2%. We were not playing very often. So I know that my betting believability is going to be way higher than the cutoff. And I know the cutoff is a thinking player, and he's not dumb. He will fold when he feels like he needs to. So at this point, when he bets out $15, he either smacked the flop, meaning he has like ace king and he just crushed the nuts, or he just has nothing, most likely like some kind of ace 7 with how loose he could be. So I actually right here decide that I'm going to float and I'm going to try to win this pot. So I decide to just make the call, and if I see a heart on the turn, then I am going to bluff at it and I'm going to try to take it down. So I do call the 15, and then I see an 8 of hearts on the turn. So I thought about leading into this as a bet, but I decide that a check raise here will work out a lot better if my opponent bets a small size on this turn card. So this turn card is great because it gives me a heart draw, and then it gives me a gut shot to a straight. So if a 7 comes, I have a straight. So I have 9 cards that are hearts, and then 3 more cards that are a 7, which is 12 outs. Plus, I think that he could still have like ace high. So even if a 9 or a 10 comes, I think I even have 6 more outs that may be good. If my opponent just has ace high and my 9s and 10s are good. So anyway, I check it, and then my opponent does indeed just bet out 25. Now this is actually where I recalibrate. So my original thought was I wanted to check raise, but after he bets out 25, I feel like I can still rep a king here. I don't believe he has a king now when he bets out 25. And I felt like if I just call this 25, I'm gonna have a king more often than my opponent because of how loose he is. And I could just call and see if I hit my draw, and then value bet my my made flush or straight later, or I can, if I miss, I could just lead out and put out a bet as a bluff, and I think it's gonna look a lot like I have the king because of how tight I am. So I just make the call. I want to see if I hit my draw or not. I don't. I miss. So 4 clubs hits on the river, and now I'm just like, okay, well, the whole plan here was not to lose this pot. I already planned on winning this, so I'm gonna follow through with it, and I just need to size my bluff on the river. I feel like I could have all the kings. I could have any king here. My opponent, he's so loose. I just can't give him the king. He's not a tight player. I think he just has ace high here a lot of the time. So after about 30 seconds of trying to figure out my sizing here, I think if I had the king, I would not go too big at all. The board is not very scary whatsoever. And I think that a proper sizing here would not be big. It's gonna be like half pot, a little less than half pot, because I'm gonna assume my opponent has like ace highs, maybe pocket pairs like that are not big, like pocket 7s, pocket 5s maybe. And then if he has like queen high, he's just never gonna call. So I actually sized to $55 into the pot of 130 roughly. Now this is less than half pot, and I think it's just a perfect size to make an ace high fold. Like an ace high here, I think it's almost wrong for an ace high to call against an opponent like me whose VPIP is like 2.5% here. It just looks like I hit the king right off the flop, and I just checked it the whole way, letting him bet. And now on the river, I don't want to see a check back. So I think this bluff is going to work logically against players who are logical. Don't try this with a player who's just a call station who will call everything, because then you're just burning away $55. And also, I think against a player who is more likely to fold, you should bluff on the turn. But it gets through. My opponent folds, and here you can just see me raking in the chips. I wish I would have pulled out my phone sooner so you could see my cards and the flop. But yeah, I'm Pokerbrandon, and I am out.